Hey guys, how's it going? Just seeing if you guys can hear and see me yet. Good to see you, Holly. Hey, Dawn. Hey, Nancy. Hey, Holly. Vacations were great. Super enjoyable. What was it? Utah and Seattle-ish area were all very beautiful. Utah by far has the best cooking. Oh my gosh. I gained 3 pounds in 4 days there. Really good food there. You take your exam tomorrow, Nancy. How exciting. What did I post? I posted something in our Discord group, I think in the anatomy room this week. Things you should know. So I posted TRICH. Urethra does what? DACRY. Parts of the shoulder are what? Parts of the knee are what? What holds bone to bone? ARDS. And skein gland. Is that male or female? Just a whole bunch of stuff for you to do for homework. I know your exam is tomorrow, but hopefully that'll help you. Hey, Susie. Thanks for letting me know. Hey, Eye Candy. Hey, Charisse. Hey, Fatima. Hey, Go-Kart. Good to see you. Hey, Abyss. Hey, Renee. Hey, Sandy. Wish you all the best of luck tomorrow. Yes, yes, yes. You took yours today and you passed. Very good. Congratulations. I hope we helped out a little bit. What was the one thing you wish you had known that you didn't know about today's exam? Congratulations. Hey, Casey. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Little Joe. Hey, India. I'm just reading chat. 4th time is the charm. That's awesome. Usually it's the 3rd, but good job. That's perfect. That's awesome. It doesn't matter how long it takes you. Just let them, don't let them win. Keep at it. Hey, Angela. Good to see you. Any codes anybody wants to look at before we get started? Any questions about any particular set of codes? Like what's the difference between a set of codes? Anything y'all want to look at or know before we get started on the questions that I have in that I've already prepped? Be sure you guys know tomorrow that if they ask you a question about 2 digits like a QZ or a JW, they may not be in the CPT book. They may be in the HIPICS book. So not all modifiers are here. Be sure you know about the place of service codes. These little numbers right here. Be sure you know where that page is. Also, be sure you know something about a mid-level provider, who is, who isn't, and know where that calendar is, when things update in your book and when things go into effect. There's different dates, so pay attention to the question and make sure you're not picking the effective date when they're only asking for a release date. Looking at the headers before the descriptors really helped out. That's awesome. Yes, I love that tip of mine. Love it, love it, love it. That is super, super helpful. It really shows you a way to eliminate a couple of answers pretty quickly and get you down closer to a 50-50 shot. So you had a question about a liver biopsy. Some things can be just needle without an ultrasound or any kind of scope, fluoroscope or something, but some things already come with radiology in them, so sometimes it's hard to know which ones have it and which ones don't. Blondie loves your name, Candy. General, regional, and MAC anesthesia. Monitored anesthesia versus general versus regional. Regional is like, you know, we're doing a nerve block. Travis had to have one because he put a ring on his finger and he went to sleep and we couldn't get it off. We went through 2 fire stations, blades, trying to get the thing off, and it was a cheap $5 ring. But all the blades wouldn't go through it, so they were ready to take him to surgery and just manhandle and cut the thing off, but they ended up doing a nerve block here and manhandling it off and finally got it off. But good gracious, regional, if you only need to numb up a particular region. Hey Edith, how's it going? What code would you use for liver biopsy? Let's see. Where would we go for that? Probably going to go back here to in here. Let's see, where would we go? Remember too, also, it's really helpful, especially in the digestive system, to have what body part you are dealing with written out on the top of the page, because like all of these are colons, all of this is, you know, oral and mouth. That's super helpful to help you out with doing the exam. So we definitely be around these pages of 375 if you're in the 2023 CPT. Looks like this code 47000 has been known to be on the exam from time to time. Is super important. Does that look familiar? And then we have a parenthetical down here about if we're going to use fluoroscope, we would use these codes here. That's probably where I would go. Depending on whether you had a wedge biopsy, if it was needle, if you were just draining an abscess. There's other ones to think about, but right here is where I would go. Is that helpful? There are no J codes in the CPT. all J codes are in your HitPix book. So J codes would be here. We have J modifiers too that would be in here, which I have some practice questions on today that are going to be in here. But our J codes are all injectables, or they're codes inside your HitPix book. So for drugs that are administered other than orally. You're very helpful. Oh yeah, no worries. Happy to help. Hopefully that helps, Sharice. Yes, you had that one. Awesome. Do you think you got that one right? Don't forget also, when you're dealing with J codes, don't look directly across from the code to figure out what med it is. You're going to look 3 lines down to where it says the drug name right there. It's very different a lot of times than what's written right here. Totally different. Like we've got names that are listed as ClickJet. Or whatever this word is. They can start with O, but the name of the med may start with something totally different. Like, look at this one. This one starts with Abilacept, but the name of the drug is called E something. So I found it very difficult trying to figure out which chemotherapy drug was in the question, but I didn't know to look 3 levels down for the drug names when I took this a long time ago, so back in 2019. So be sure to not worry about the name that's right here, like glucagon. You need to look for your names down here in the blue. So super important with the J codes. Hey Alyssa, hey Patrice, good to see you. The definitions for the mid-level providers are in your study guides. So in the front of your study guide that you would have, they're going to talk about the business of medicine. And in this chapter, they talk about the hierarchy of providers. And the mid-level providers are right here. This is info that I take and I move and write into my CPT book. And I keep that info in the front of my CPT book so that I can find it when I need it. Anything that I didn't know off the top of my head already, or, you know, any of that info, I would move to the book so that you have it. Even this old 2019 study guide has a lot of info that's super helpful. The E&M stuff is still quite good. It's just the questions aren't going to be 100% up to date, and we do have a couple of deleted codes in it, but it still describes, it defines what an E&M service is. It still defines all your E&M categories, like the hospital, what an observation is, what inpatient status is, definitions between new and established. There's still a lot of benefit in the entire study guide, even though this is an older one. So if you can find any of them, I like them. If you're taking an AAPC certification, their study guide is a lot of what they're going to ask you. It's a more condensed version of their course, which I like, and all their little tips are super helpful, you know, like highlighting, or they even say stuff about moving the guidelines to the codes that are there. They do give you a lot of information. It's just a lot of info in a lot of words. That's not very, I mean, that's just a lot of words to read, and it would be nicer if it was more visual. And I'm trying to work on something for you guys, because it's just a lot of words. It's like, who wants to read and retain all that info? I don't know. But anyway, it's exactly what they test you on. So get an old study guide and move whatever data you don't know over there. Yeah, you can buy them at AAPC's website. They're super expensive, but I get mine from old bookstores online. Just Google, do a Google search. One of my favorite bookstores online is called Book Run. They even have like CPT books, the AAPC versions of the ICD-10. They're even on eBay. I got this book from them October of last year for $50 with free shipping, when everybody else was charging $200. So I love that store. It's cool. Same book as, and when I pre-ordered one from AAPC, of course, and it came with the same stickers, the same book, same everything as AAPC had, and I only had to pay $50 for it, because I like to keep one book plain and not written up in, and then one book noted in it. It's helpful when I'm teaching to have one that doesn't have any notes in it sometimes. You have the 2022 one? Great. That's awesome. Don't forget those acronyms, JVD and ARDS. You can Google that. Google is your best friend. You can write those on the very back of your CPT book. There is an acronym page back here that's super helpful. So when I go to, let me open up a new thing. So when I go AAPC study guide, I just do a Google search. I change my search to shopping, and I'll find a place that's selling one for cheap. Able Books is a really good place too. abebooks.com. They have a 2021 one for $53 with free shipping. There's a 2022 one for $70, but that's too expensive. Yeah, that's too expensive, $150. No way. Don't spend that much money. Try to find you some that's cheaper. There's a 2023 one, but that's for COC. Look at Able Books. That's got to be a misprint. $489 for a 2019 one. That's silly. But I also do this, if there's anything you don't know, like JVD, medical abbreviation, just Google it, change your search to all, and it tells you what the answer is, jugular vein distension. Make sure that if you don't know it, you can put it in your book, so you can turn your book into Google when you're not around an internet place during an exam. You had one about a Medicare 65-year-old preventative care and got pneumonia, and yep, So you know where those codes are at. You know, Medicare doesn't do much in CPT, so we have to go to our hip picks, and I think, is it our first G codes? Our very first G codes in the hip picks book are administration of the influenza vaccine and one for pneumonia vaccine. So G0009, G008. I know they have pink highlights in last year's book. I just haven't updated my books yet, but there's no difference. There's not a lot of new codes from last year to this year. I do have a set of notes that's the complete book of notes for hip picks. If anybody's interested, they're in the shop. So you get the whole entire book in one thing, and it'll have highlighted what are key areas you need to note. If at all there is anything available in the hip picks book, this is what we use Medicare for. And those are the codes for that. You purchased 2 exam vouchers with the AAPC and got free practice exams, free study guide, and an extra $100 review course. That's awesome. They usually have a lot of sales going on right now for the 4th of July. Yep, the 09. Be sure you know that one for the exam, for sure. All right. Let's get to the questions I have for tonight. I hope y'all got your Integmentuary brains on today. Hey V, how's it going? You had a question about EEGs. Codes number 957179581 and the table on page 812 helped out. I used to try to avoid the tables because they are confusing to look at the very first time you look at them, but they really do help, and that's what they're testing you on, is do you understand and know how to use these tables. 95717 and then 19. So you just needed to know if you had, they both have without video. So one was 2 to 12 hours, the other one was up to 26 hours. Oops, wrong one. This one is what she's talking about. For our EEGs. Yeah, I figured it out. I figured it was the 719. I do that all the time. So dyslexic with the names. So it's just a difference between hours. 2 to 12 or 12 to 26. What did we write down from Friday? Friday we had a few little things people mentioned. QZ was on their exam, HIPAA, and OIG also. We wrote those down. I wish you'd found me sooner too, Annabelle. Hopefully I can help you. Hey, Chastity. Charisse and Chastity passed. Awesome. Thank you for popping in to let me know. That is so great. Let me know if there's anything you wish you had known that I didn't say. But that's awesome. Congratulations. I did, V. I stacked my camera up on a stack of books on an end table, and I put it inside of a cup. I wasn't about to buy no stand for a one-time use kind of thing at all. So I had mine stacked up on a stack of books inside of a coffee cup. Hang in there, Annabelle. You're looking for, yay, Ashley, that's awesome. CPMA. All my classes do have a mixture of exam questions from CPMA, COC, CIC, CCS, CRC, all kinds of stuff. It doesn't really matter 100% like which kind of certification you're taking. The same thing happens no matter what question you get, my little processes that I do. There are more laws with CPMA, but if you get those practice exam questions and the study guide that goes along with it, that's all you need from AAPC. And then doing the questions like I do, you will be able to pass. Yeah, there's no need in spending a lot of extra money, not at all. On the hip picks, it's totally up to you. Whichever one you can find is cheaper. If you're taking a AAPC certification, I recommend you get their version. If you can find one from last year that is cheaper than this year, just do the Google search like I do and change your search to shopping and see if Book Run or any of those stores have one that's fairly cheap. Either one, they're both fine. You need the 2022 or the 2023 version. All right, let's get started. We've got a new patient and 2 established, and then we have where we don't bill an E&M at all. What do you guys think the answer is for this one? If it is blurry, don't forget you can click on the YouTube video. A little wheel in the top right-hand corner will pop up. You can change your video quality from the basic to an upgraded video quality that'll make it less blurry for you. A surgeon evaluates a new patient complaining of pain and numbness of the right wrist and agrees with the PCP that it is carpal tunnel syndrome. The surgeon documents one chronic illness, reviews the PCP notes, and orders an ultrasound. The surgeon schedules neuroplasty for the medial nerve of the right wrist. How should the evaluation and management services be billed? Probably should have done like a, instead of the O, put in a 4. That'd make it more confusing. Because we could put in a consultation. Huh. Just type in chat what you think the answer is. Yeah, and then I'm going to change this one to the O. Changing all the codes around and knowing that I'm pretty tricky with my questions when I make them up, I ought to tell you that this one you don't bill any E&M visit, because what is it? It is a pre-op visit, right? Isn't pre-op visits included in the surgery code? Don't forget that. It can be very tricky and very confusing during the exam. You guys think we're billing for a new patient office visit because they're getting a consult, because a lot of times the patients are going to a specialist in our examples, not for surgery, but for like a cardiovascular issue that a PCP can't take care of. And they just want advice on how to manage the patient's heart problems. And then they go back to their PCP. This one's unique because it's a surgeon. And when a surgeon sees you before they do a surgery, look at the dates of service. There's a reason why those dates are there. When you see something unusual like that, it means that they're asking you about a specific guideline that is tied to dates. And if I see you the day before I cut on you, I don't bill for that visit because it's included in the CPT code for that surgery, because it's a pre-op visit. So be very careful about that, especially you guys being seen or taking the exam tomorrow. This is an area where y'all will get them wrong in the E&M section. Is that helpful? Time is moving fast. You're scheduled for your CPC on July 29th. I can't wait, Sam. You're going to do great. You've been in so many of my lives. Hi, Diana. Good to see you. It looks like somebody has a exam review. Maybe a workshop coming up. So that's awesome. You guys let me know what you want July's workshop to be too. I need to schedule one of those. Here's a modifier one. Per Medicare Part B rules, which modifier should you use when the dose of the drug given is less than a billing unit of service? So, like if in the CPT code, the J code says it's a 10 milligram dose. Well, what we're going to give is 1 milligram. What do we do for Medicare? Which modifier would we add? So let's go look up our differences real quick. Let's go into our HipPix book. Be sure you know where to find this stuff. I like to use the AAPC version because they have the little cheat sheets on the front covers. It's easier to find than the full description that's in there. So JW is a drug amount discarded. My kids are screaming. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. CAR discarded. And then JC says 0 discarded. And ZA, where is that one? Gotta go look. The other cover for this one, ABCD. I have no idea on this one. CA. No idea. Anybody know where that one is? Maybe it was supposed to be JA. Maybe I typed it wrong, but I don't know. Oh yeah, anesthesia one. This one just means patients in the prone position for the anesthesia. I'm checking out chat to see what you got. How can I sign up for your workshop? My retake is July 15th. Medicine section. Y'all want medicine section and anesthesia? How can I say? You retake it on the 15th. I don't know. Maybe I could do one on July 9th. I don't have anything made up yet for a workshop, but I don't know when y'all would want to. Normally I would probably try to do it on the 16th because it's the middle of the month. Because that's pretty fast for everybody on the 9th, but I like to do them on Sundays. She's getting nervous. The dates get closer. Are y'all looking in the HitPix book? It's the wrong one. Because your J, where are we at? We've got JW is right way down here. We can look in the book too because all the modifiers are in here. So we've got JW. Come on camera. We've got JW, the amount discarded, not administered to any patient. JZ is the zero drug amount discarded, not administered to any patient, that kind of thing. So don't forget, all your HitPix book has all these modifiers in them. Craziness. That's why I like getting the AAPC version of their HitPix because they break down the modifiers on the front and back covers into smaller little descriptions on the front and back covers, which are easier to read. All your modifiers are in the HitPix book. More guidelines. Guidelines. More guidelines and more modifiers. We did do modifiers. And compliance. Where do I find things when I can't find them, guys? I'm not, super intelligent, but I went to Google and asked Google, where is ZA modifier? And ZA modifier, Google told me it was prone position. I have no idea where it's at in the Hip Picks book because I can't find it. It must be an old one because look at this, 2010. It must be an old one from a long time ago. Maybe they don't use this one anymore, but that's where I found it. I'm telling you, Google is your girlfriend. And whatever you don't know and whatever isn't in your books, we can move it there. How I moved through my company and ended up being an auditor and ended up with a six-figure income in my 30 years is greatly to do with the invention of Google. If I don't know it and I can't find it in my resources, then I go to Google. I go to my girlfriend, Miss Google, and ask her. She'll find something. Yeah, I figured. And this question is from a course that I just purchased from AAPC. So, it's crazy how many questions they have that are out of date or never fixed that are still bad. And it's just another one I need to send to Miss Victoria to send to my arch nemesis at AAPC that we can't mention my name to that person at all because I'll send somebody else to them to get their questions fixed because, yeah, it's crazy. Uh-oh. We got mail. Mail delivery.
Why is it? Trash company want $80.
His grandma forgot to send them last month's bill. I bet. Ooh, there was a movie, Abyss. I was watching how they had to make that movie. It was so interesting. Back in the 80s, and they didn't have the technology, and they went to some nuclear silos and crazy. You got to see that documentary about the Abyss. All right, mail just got delivered. It's probably just shampoo or something. All right, so we're gonna make note that we have an out of date question and we'll get that sent over to AAPC to fix. But for now, I need to find another way of, just shampoo and conditioner. I go through gallons of that stuff. We know that this one gets eliminated because it's out of date. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? If Google can't find it, we're in trouble. Yep. job placement, I've never been worried about trying to worry about where to get a job. You need to be, I see people just like submitting the same resume to the same businesses all over the country and then wondering why they don't get a job, a call back. You know, if I want a job at any company, I make my resume for that company. I find out what they're looking for. And then I find out, okay, what EHR are they using? What data warehouse are they using? What clearinghouse are they using? And I'll just call up the front desk staff and ask. With that in mind, of course, I'm going to put down that I use their EHR system, that I use their clearinghouse, that I use their data warehouse systems on my resume. If I've never used them before, I'm going on YouTube and I'm watching every YouTube video I can find about all those things. It's not rocket science. You've got to find a place to put the patient's name in. And other than that, I'm not afraid to click on anything. So I'll click on a bunch of stuff. But I'll tell the company I already have experience. I'm a super user of whatever system they're using. You know, whatever. It's not hard in whatever system that we're using. I find out if they're working with Optum or if they use direct access to the health plans, and curtail my resume to be the perfect fit for whatever job I'm looking for, and make it so that when they look at my resume, they don't want to interview me. They want me to be in their position and that they can't go on without me. And anytime I've ever left one company and went to another one, that's exactly what I've had happen. I'm not going to just blindly send resumes out to 45, 50 companies. I'm going to pick a company I really want to work for, and I'm going to find out all I can about them and make sure I know everything about their systems that they're already using, so that when I do get interviewed, I'm like an old hat at whatever they're doing, and they're not going to have any issues with training or putting me in a position that I want. There are so many jobs out there that you can do. You can even work for the clearinghouses or the data warehouse companies. You don't even have to deal with patients and patient claims and charts. You can work for the companies that make Encoder and all these other softwares that help coders find codes. They need super users to use their systems. Hold on, let me go beat a child real quick. So that they can, you know, scrub their systems for errors.
He's making.
That room's not clean. You're not getting the new shoes, mister. So, James, did you go check the mailbox?
How much was the Congress?
At this point in my life, I'm going to take away the
Exactly
computer
like that.
just to get you to do anything I ever ask you to do. You are being very disappointing, Mr. J. Dirt. All right. Travis, super excited. He designed some shoes for himself on Converse. I got to show you guys. But he can't have them until he cleans his room. So he's got to clean his room. Anyway, he went to Converse and designed some. And they have his name on them, but they also have, like, this says Artful Travis, because he does art. And then he put hearts and circles on them. But he picked out the color, the red and black, and he picked out the hearts They look like Valentine's Day shoes, but he picked out and designed all that stuff. He picked out all the colors, the stitching, all that stuff, and the gold little things instead of the silver. Anyway, it's kind of funny. And then James, I've been asking him for 3 days straight to go check the mailbox, and he ends up being not the one to check the mailbox. He's just sitting there on his computer, wrapped up in a blanket, watching videos, and hasn't moved all summer long. So I'm about ready to take away his computer. He's not doing chores. Anyway, too cool. All right, we got to figure out our modifier for this particular one. My resume is geared towards my old career. Should I redo it and take out the old stuff? It depends. A vet tech for 11 years. You had to deal with patient diagnoses, collecting payments. There's insurance companies involved on some people's. I would hype up that information on your resume when looking for a coder job. I would highlight that you've dealt with prior authorizations, claim forms, denials, whatever. You may not have done it. It's not that big of a deal. The game is already set against you. Just don't worry about it. It's a Googleable thing. If you need to know how to fill out a prior authorization form, you just Google the form and it shows you, put in patient name, put in date of birth, put in their list of diagnoses, list of things they've tried and failed on. It's not rocket science. There's nothing that's going to prove that you haven't done it before. The main thing is getting your foot in the door and getting experience and enjoying what you're doing. And learning is always enjoyable for me. So I think that's great. A vet tech has tons of experience of all kinds of stuff. I've even helped a medical doctor, a veterinarian, get her medical coding certification recently. So no big deal. Do it, do it, do it. ZA is a discontinued modifier. It is no longer applicable, but it means that a patient is in the prone position when you're given anesthesia. We just discussed that this is a brand new question from a brand new course from AAPC. I just spent $4,000. I bought every course they have or whatever they had on that special. And this is one of those that they have. Medicare does get tricky, Laura Love. Absolutely. If I missed your questions, I'm sorry. You love Vans. Travis loves Vans. And no, James loves Vans, but Travis loves Chucks. Those are Chucks, yes. It's okay if it's customer service stuff. You anticipated customer needs. You looked out for, oh my gosh. You looked out, there's a lot of stuff you can fancy up that stuff for. Travis, hush, honey, you're distracting me. Stop. Shh, shh, it is not his fault. It's your tone. Travis talks like he needs hearing aids. He's super loud when he's excited about stuff. He's so excited about those shoes. Your patients bite instead of complain. I would disagree. I have seen a cat complain to me and a dog with as much fervor and disdain as any Karen has. I would disagree. All right. Hold. Sammy, go to bed. Get up there. Come on. Sorry, my house is going crazy right now. Now my cats are going to argue because they're getting hungry. Okay. The answer to this one is B, actually, guys. We are going to say that no drug was discarded and we gave it all. Instead, we are supposed to report administering the full billing unit along with the modifier JZ saying zero drug amount discarded or not administered to any patient. How that makes any sense, I have no idea, but it's the right answer that they want. And as long as we know what they want, we can plan ahead for it during the exam. We just can't bill for fractional medicines given. We just bill for the whole amount, because even if we destroyed part of the medicine, we still gave it to the patient and we just have to bill for it. Travis! Debriefment, easier question, guys. Is best described as what? Removal of a scab, removal of dead tissue, or is it a transplant? How about that? Or a plastic surgery procedure? What do you guys think? Hey, Twinkle. Good to see you. Yep, Mama's got it. What's our debriefment? Oh, there goes the advertisements. Thank y'all for the thumbs up and always giving a thumbs up on all my videos on YouTube. It does help out, push out that stuff. I have now 10,000 subscribers and 25,000 followers on TikTok. So that's good to see. BBB is our answer. Good job. Debridement is removal of dead tissue, dirt, foreign materials, debris, all kinds of stuff. How about what is an abscess? Is it dead skin? Is it a lesion? Is it a cavity? Or is it a skin flap? Speaking of TikTok, I forgot. We had some money inside TikTok. I found it this weekend and I went and transferred it to my PayPal account. So that's why I'm giving away 5 memberships right now. Go-Kart, Rachel, Aaron, Eva. Yay. I don't know why it says Go-Kart twice, but hopefully that helps you guys out. We got some different opinions on, and that this money came from direct gifts while I was live. So like roses and little bears or those things, not from the subscriptions, but this came from the gifts. So that's awesome. So I got B's and C's. So B says it's a lesion. C says it's a cavity. What's an abscess? It is C. It is a cavity. Mostly infection, purulent exudate. Yeah, I can't say that. It just means filled up with infectious fluids, little bundles and bundles of bacteria. All right. If we were looking at this answer only without looking at the question, what do you guys think the answer is? Just for play. What do you think? Thinking about all the things that I've told you about medical coding exams, a lot of times they're just testing to see if you will be an overcoder, code too much information. So with that in mind, a lot of times if your diagnosis can be taken care of with one code, a lot of times they like to test you and see if you know that or not. And a lot of times they're trying to make you think that you need 2 diagnosis codes when only one happens to be a multiple codable one. And it's something that you don't need 2 with. So with that particular thing in mind, what I would do would not even look up these. What I would do is figure out if I needed a 7th character or not, is what they're trying to test you for. And the only place to find that answer is not at the 6 digits. Like I wouldn't go to S91319. You'll never find out there if you need this or not. Where you find that answer is only at the first 3 digits. To find that, you just need to go to S91. And they want to know, do you know that? Do you know where that is for every single situation, whether you're S82, S90, wherever? Do you know where to find that 7th digit if you need it? Because a lot of people would run just to the 6 digits and go all the way down to the 319. And if you do that, you won't find the answer there. You'll just kind of be stuck like, well, I don't know if I need it or not. So S91. Right here. If you stop at S91, you'll see the definitions of your 7th character, which are right there, A, D, and S. So, knowing that this does need a 7th character, I would automatically pick D as my answer and move on to my next question, and I wouldn't even bother looking at the question. But I don't know if anybody's brave enough to do that during the exam, but that's how I would do it. Here's your question. I'll let you guys decide what you think the answer is. Patient steps on a piece of glass, I've done that before, and cuts the bottom of their foot. There are no pieces of glass in the foot, and the patient is examined in the emergency room. Ooh, wonder what kind of level visit that is. Would this be a 99281, an 82, an 83, or an 84? As a side question. Oh yeah, let me turn off my camera so you guys can see the question. I'm glad you got one right, Sam. Anybody know the answer to this one? Do y'all agree with me that D is going to be your answer? Or would y'all want to add the M 79 to this? Here, if there was going to be a need for a second diagnosis, a lot of times it would say code also, and would have those fingers pointing, you know, that little finger thing that says code also. It's one hint. Yay, awesome. Yep, D is it. All right, what about this one? What do you think the answer is without even looking at the question? Is that possible with this one? Hey Bookers, good to see you. Oh, I'm just playing around and confusing the heck out of people. What do you guys think the answer is to this one without even looking at the question? What would be your reasoning if you did just pick an answer? Take a guess. What do you think? Which ones do you think you would keep? A lot of times inside this ICD-10 book, you know how we start out with the alphabet A and then we go B, C, D. A lot of times it's kind of neat how if you look at this sepsis one, A is first, K is second, and then we have like maybe even Z codes at the end for long-term use of medications. It kind of goes in order. So if we're looking at the answers to this question, you know that in the alphabet, E comes first, then L, and then Z. But also, you know, E, we're dealing with diabetes, right? And then what's going on in the L section? If we look at anything that's in the L, we can see on the sidebar that this is diseases of the skin. And if a diabetic has an issue with their skin, or if there is a skin issue and the patient's diabetic, there's a cause and effect, right? Diabetes usually causes the skin issue. I mean, unless they were bit by a dog. It's a cause and effect kind of thing. The diabetes would cause the skin issue, and then long-term use of medications back again to the diabetes. So I agree with V that if I saw this question, just thinking about the order of the alphabet is enough to remind me that B is probably the only answer right here, right? Unless they got bit by a dog, but long-term use of medication wouldn't go with this at all. So that's just craziness. But just knowing sequencing a lot of times, not always, is just by alphabet. Patient develops an ulcer on the big toe of the right foot. Patient is a type 2 diabetic controlled on oral medications. How would we diagnose this? Got to know how to sequence your stuff. That's awesome, Bookers. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. Yep. When do you not code diabetes first? Maybe if the patient was admitted for a foot fracture first, depending on what they're being seen for today, sometimes you end up coding something else first. Pregnancy can go first a lot of times. So there are situations where you might code something else first. My diabetes notes are super helpful. I've got even the OB ones moved to the E codes. That way you don't have to go look in OB for your diabetes stuff. So sometimes if they're underdosed or overdosed, you're going to do those T codes first because their medication is what they're here for that got missed or something like that. That may go first well before you even get to diabetes, but just knowing and having all those guidelines moved here to the diabetes codes is super helpful. That way you keep it all straight. All right, so this one is definitely B. B is our answer. My diabetes or my ICD-10 notes are not in Etsy. They're only on my website. All right, what about this one? What do you guys think the answer is for this one without looking at the question at all? Make a guess. Don't let the amount of codes stress you out. Think about the things that I've taught you. Think about the way codes are set up and the way they're supposed to be. Sorry, Patrice. Let me go tell James to get off the internet real quick.
What are you doing? Eating what? Why? What grandma made? All kinds of stuff?
Sorry. I went out there to get the kids off the internet. They are not on it. So I don't know why it's not streaming. And then I got distracted. My mom made meatballs. Sorry about that, guys. But what do you think about this one? That's awesome, Sam. Twinkle says it helps if you refresh your screen. All right, for this one, in looking at the codes, remember how our S91 or whatever it was a minute ago, I know S82, they all needed that 7th character, right? And you have to go to the first 3 digits to find the definition of the 7th character. In looking at just the first set of codes here, we notice that this one is missing a 6th and a 7th code, unlike these have them. So I would throw out A because it's missing its 7th character. I also noticed that this one and this one start out with the same codes, same answers. So that makes me want to get rid of D. These two are the same. These two are the same. These two are the same. The only difference is, do we add a 7th character to T31? To find out if we do, we just would go to T31 and see if it requires a 7th character. And when we go to T31, right here, I don't see that list of things that requires the 7th character. That other things have, like T20 does. And remember, you don't go to 31.32, because if I go there, it's not going to tell me if I need a 7th character or not. But this is where you find it, at the main header of the first 3 digits. And since there's no box of these for the 7th character, you know you don't need a 7th character. And that's all this question is testing you on, is to know that if you know which codes require a 7th character or not. So what do you think the answer is for this one? My mom's trying to sabotage my 77-pound weight loss thing here, but that's okay. They're good. I'm so glad we reviewed it too. That's awesome. Yep, C is going to be our answer. And see how easy that is? You guys can do this too during your exam. You don't have to stress about all the details. Whatever's going on in in the question, you don't need the questions. A lot of times you can just do this with just the answers. That avoids the propaganda that's in the questions. You know exactly that you have the answer correct just based off of looking at those answers. And you stay away from the questions altogether. And you're not stressing over every little detail in those long paragraphs of whatever foolishness they've put in there. having to deal with all this darn rationale that, there's an easier way to explain it. Just go to T31. Do you need a seventh character? Nope. Then great. We're not going to use it. Oh boy. I got some definitions here. They might be a little here. Let me see if I can make them bigger. All right. We've got avulsion, cauterize, cryotherapy, electrocardio, electrodissectionation, good gracious, ligation, strangulation, and paring and cutting. What do you guys think the answers are? What's avulsion? What the heck does that mean? Well, I know what strangulation is. That's probably my easiest one. So, let's see. Heat is going to be, an electricity, low temperatures, cut off blood and supply. Oh yeah, that's my strangulation right there. I know that one. And then we got high frequency electrical current. How many electricals we got? We got 2 electricals. 1 low temperature, 1 high temperature. So, okay. That's how I divide this stuff up. I try to look for just the key terms, what's most important, and then divide them up into how many do I have that are bundled together so I can tell the differences. If that makes any sense. C for avulsion, C, forceful tearing away of a body part. I like that. Cauterize. We used to do this. I almost took Travis in last month to get his nosebleed cauterized. Very close to getting it done. Nosebleed that lasted for 30 minutes. It wouldn't stop. Travis! Let's see. I like A. The little chemical burns that we can do are little Q-tips that look like matches, and that chemical on the end, when you touch it to liquid, cauterizes it. It's kind of cool. All right, we got AC. What about cryo? Cryotherapy, we all know that one is freezing, right? We saw something with low temperatures. So yeah, I like the low temperatures for cryo. Let's see, electrocardio or electrodissection. Which one? We've got 2 electrodes. Yep, B, perfect. Then we can move and do our H to our next one, because those are both the electricity ones. Ligation and pairing are the only ones different, and we've got peeling, which is sort of the same thing as pairing. So we can put G there, right? And then we only have the one thing left over is our F. We can just funnel into there for our ligation. Travis! Oh, he's super distracting tonight. All right, guys. Looking at this one, we just gotta go. It's gonna be harder to try to look at these without and do the answer by themselves. It might be those two 16s since they're super close together, but I know there's a distinct difference between the 11-4 and the 11-6. Does anybody know what the differences are? 11-4s. Oh, the ER visit, the one where I wrote the ER for the kid. That one right there, it stepped on glass or whatever. This would be an 82 because this one's a nurse visit. And this would be a straightforward because it's just glass in the foot. Just so you know, I forgot to tell you guys. All right. What's the difference between 11-4 and the 11-6s? What's the distinct difference? Anybody know? Ah, Annabelle, you got it going. That was fast. Very good. Yep. So the first thing I would look for in this question, are we benign or are we malignant? And this will save your soul. This is where headers before descriptors, if you're running to each one of these codes and reading, this is an excision of other benign, including margins, except skin, face, ears, eyelids, nose, whatever, you're wasting your time. Just look at the headers. So are we doing malignant or benign? Travis, go turn out the laundry room door. Did you fix the laundry room and all the towels yet? Did you fix the towels yet? Go fix them. I'm not giving you your shoes. I'm not giving your shoes till you do it.
I can wait.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Don't do chores too, just like James. Travis is supposed to do the closet where all the towels are at. They're strewn all over the place. All right. We are benign for this one, so we know what the answer is without doing anything else other than looking at that one word, right? Makes these things a whole lot easier than worrying about having to add margins or anything else. Just knowing what your headers are can make these questions a whole lot easier. Again, we've got a regular established office visit. We've got benign. We've got malignant. Let's check out our question. Read from the bottom backwards. You run into that word. Stop. That's all you need, right? We know our answer is. Then you can move on to your next question. What do you do when they're all in a row like this? Well, we're going to go check out the code and see what's going on. So if we go to 11402 or 03, can we multiply these? What's our guideline with these? Would we? Would we not? What's the difference between the 02 and the 03? Just sizes are the differences. So anything over 2.0 is going to 3, and anything under goes to 2. So let's see what we did. So to figure these up, we've got a 1.0 with a 2 margin. We just do margins twice. That equals up to be 1.4. And then we've got another lesion that's 1.7. Let me do it right here. 1.7. And its margin is 2. So we just add another 2 to it. Add those together, which equals the 2.1. So we know we're going to have 1 over and 1 under. So we're going to have both codes, right? And we only have one answer with both codes, right? Since we have 2 of them with 55 and 2 of them with 56, I'd go to those 2 codes first, see what's going on there. So we've got pairing and cutting. Single lesion, 2 to 4, or 4 or more, depending on what we're doing. So let's check out our question and see. If we did 4 of them, what would the answer be? What do you guys think? I know, I make it seem so easy. I know. The hard part is doing it without me, but I promise it's just as easy, but it takes practice. You got to practice with these questions. When you're practicing your questions, try to see if you can figure out what the answer is without even looking at the question. Just try it. Try figuring it out. See if it works. If it never works, keep at it. You'll eventually get there. What do you think our answer is? There you go. Perfect. C. Good job. We don't need to times these. Good job. All right, we got 2 in the 80s. one in the 60, one in the 40. Where are we at? 100, 100, 40, 60, and 80. They're all under the same header for I and D, so we don't need to look for any different headers. There's just differences between the locations of where they're at or the type of items that we're doing. Are we doing acne? Are we doing sister boils? All that kind of stuff can be super helpful. And then where is it located if it is a cyst? It's page 79. Good job. Perfect, perfect. All right. What would we do here? We've got 11, yep, 02 and 04. We're around page 82. Don't forget there is a chart on this page. That chart can help you during the exam. I think on that chart, 1, 2, 3, the fourth example down, the one biopsy, the shave biopsy and the punch biopsy, the incisional one, I think that example has been on previous exams. So thinking about this, if we had O2, we would be doing a shave biopsy if it was O2, and then if it was O4, it's a punch. So we just need to see what type of biopsies they are. Looks like they're all punch, so we can get rid of the shave, right? Do they change based off of location? Do you need to code different codes because they went to a different location? Or do you code different locations because of the amount of punch biopsies there are? We did 2. One on the back and the other located on the arm. What do you guys think the answer is? Yep, this just equals one punch and this equals the second punch. Easy peasy. Perfect. We've got all 16s here, so you know we're all malignant. But we need to know whether we're going to add an O3 to it or an O2, or would we stay here with the 43? What would we do? What do the codes tell us we would do with these? This one already includes the margins, so we don't have to add anything to it. Sometimes it's easy to write it out. We did 3 different excisions, right? I think. So which answer would equal to 3? You code them each individually. You don't, you don't combine or add anything here. The only thing that you add would be repairs, but excisions you code individually. So which answer equals 3 things? This means you removed 1 thing. This means you removed 1 thing. C says you removed 2 things. And D says you removed 3 things. Sometimes just counting how many things did you remove and matching it up with the correct answer is super helpful. This means we removed 1 thing. This says we removed 2 things. If you add them together, we do get 3. Yep. Twelves. What's going on in the 12s? 12:15. We're around page 92. Would we be there or in the 30s? So it's wanting to know, do we know, are we going to do a simple repair or an intermediate? Let's check out our question. Travis, bring me the Oculus and the cell phone. Chloe, we ain't going out yet. It ain't dinner time yet. Almost. Almost. We have a layered closure and 2 simple closures. These are repairs. We do get to add, by the way. So if we add these together, we get our 5.0, which does get to stay in our 13, which is nice. Because they're not malignant, we don't get to count them individually. We can just count them together. So the 2 simple, we do get to add and bill 1 procedure there. And then our layered is another procedure that we bill here. So we know we need an answer that has 2 separate identifiable answers in it. So we know we need to get rid of these 2. And this one has 3 codes in it for 3 different procedures. So the only answer with 2 different procedures in it is C. This does 1 procedure, that does 1, this does 2, and this one does 3. But because they're under the header of repairs, if they're the same type, whether it's simple or intermediate, you get to add them together if we're in the same body parts. Hopefully that's helpful. Helpful. I got some tricky ones coming up. She failed on June 5th with score 69. Oh, so painful. 2 weeks ago and watched most all your videos and lives. I took the test again yesterday and I passed. Oh, yay. That is so awesome. Congratulations. You're my third one tonight to come through and let me know that they passed. That is fantastic. Is there anything you wish you had known that you didn't know that I didn't tell you to prepare for? I hope working up those workshops, with all those practice questions was super helpful. Congratulations. Happy 4th. Yes. Yeah. Sometimes, Diana, when you're doing the malignancies and then you go straight into repairs, it's like you forget, oh yeah, I don't add, or I do add. So during your exam, you're going to do the simple repairs first when you're coding for the exam usually, and then the malignancies will come after. So remember just not to add in your malignancies together. Yay. All right, 17s. We're getting closer. If we're doing 1710s, we're around page 106. We're thinking about our guidelines in destroying benign or pre-malignant lesions. If we did answer A, I hate how this is all separated. Our answer would be, let's see, up to 14, right? B would be a coding irregularity, something we wouldn't do because we don't times this one. We times our 11 if we needed to, but we don't times our 10. So we can get rid of that as a possible answer. This one, if we did do it, that means it's 14 plus, is that 30 more? So we would be 14 plus 30. We would have somewhere in the range of 44 of them we removed, I think, if I'm doing that right. And if we did 11, it would be 15 or more. That's not really an each either. I don't think we times that, right? I don't think we times this one because it doesn't have an each beside it actually. So that's a coding irregularity anyway, now that I think about it. That one's got to go. And this one could do, if there was 99 of them, it didn't matter. It would all be included in the 111. Sorry about that because it doesn't have an each beside it. So this one would do even 199. It doesn't matter. So now we're down to just 2 answers, and we just need to know, did we do more than 14? If we did less than, we're up there at the top. How many did we do? We did a little old 3. So you know right away your answer is A. Look in the index. Like we got time to be looking in the index. I hate that. Hate that answer. All right, let's go to the 119s, 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 backwards again, 119s. All these things, I hate these things. 119, 70s and 80s. These are under introductions, tattooing, injections, replacing, removal, insertions, removal, removal. Just a hodgepodge of stuff back here. Let's see what we got going on in these. Non-biodegradable. We're doing an insertion. So anything that's a removal, we can get rid of. So 76 was a removal. So we can get rid of that. That's an implant. This is an implant. 83 is a removal. So we can get rid of those. Now we've got it down to just the difference between those two, 80 and 81. One's hormone pellets and the other one is drug delivery. And I see we got drug delivery down. So I'd pick our C. Move it on. Again with the 14s and the 16s. Are we benign? Are we malignant? Let's see. C plasty on the forehead, and we got malignant here with a repair. What do you guys think on this one? Hi, Andy. Candy, I got you as a subscriber, not as a member, but not that that's any difference. You get access to all the free videos. When you become a member, you are getting access to the exclusive videos. I don't know if that's a difference that you know about, but there's workshops and book prep videos where I go code from code, making notes, and you guys come along with me and watch me prep the books. Those are videos for the members. It's $5 a month if you do join, but all the repeat of these 2-hour live lessons are all available for free on YouTube too. And y'all are subscribers. I don't know. YouTube put y'all in different categories. Thank you, Sam. You are awesome. You can also win it here too. So we give away a bunch of the memberships for free too. So just be sure that when you see me give them away and there's that green box that shows up and it has these little presents in it, be sure and click the 3 little dots inside the little present box and have it to where YouTube will let you be a winner. It says accept gifts. So you just click the little thing that says you'll accept gifts. I think you only have to do that once. if you've never done it before. What do you guys think is the answer? Oh, here goes fireworks off at my house. It's just now starting to get dark here. Just barely. We still got some sun left. Show y'all. It's so different with the time zones, but that's my backyard right now. Oh, it's just a terrible picture. But it's still sunny out there, so it's starting. Sun's going down right there. I'm starting to hear some fireworks going off. We're dealing with the malignancy. So what are we doing? Do I have any answers? I got one brave soul, Laura Love. $6.99. I don't think that's right. Let me see. Where's my and what do? I go my channel. I go here. Yeah. So here. It can't be my subscription. Maybe you're subscribing to somebody else, but mine is only $4.99 right there. You know, there's other people you could subscribe to, but mine's only $4.99. And you find that, oh, I need to go here. You just come to my channel and you just click the little join button right there. And mine's $4.99. I'm sure tax gets involved, but it won't be 7 something. Anyway. Who else has got an answer? Nope. Does not go. I did not make it go up. Not at all. Got $1 off. Woo! Nice. That's awesome. Why would Pennsylvania charge you $6.99? That's crazy. It's nothing that comes to me. I get $2 a month after YouTube fees and stuff like that. Oh, there goes some more fireworks. All right, guys. I still don't see any correct answers. Do you guys remember when you see the word Z-plasty? What is that supposed to trigger in your brain, right? Z-plasty, Y-plasty, V, Y, Z, W. What's happening when you see those words? It don't matter if it's malignant. That's a tricky question. What's happening is you're doing the adjacent tissue transfer, which are always these 14000 codes. And what have I told you about these codes? These codes are always independent by themselves. I've got a list of them: Z-plasty, W, V, Y, rotational flap, if you ever see that word in a question, random island flaps, advancement flap. It goes on and on. I got a full list of all kinds of terms that if you see those terms during the exam, you know from my notes that you guys are only going to do one code only, and you know it's going to start with 14, right? And your answer is always that Z plasty would have alerted you, said, uh-oh, Jen says stop, we're not coding each lesion, we're going to adjacent tissue transfer, and that code does the excision and the repair all in one with the flaps and whatever. Super good question for the exam, especially since this one has the 14s and the 16s, and I've got y'all trained looking for the word malignancy that leads you to the 16. Don't forget to also look for the name of the surgery you're doing. If it's just not an excision and a repair. What, Travis? He got the mom look and he left. You. Just make sure that if you see a code with an answer of 14 mixed in all by itself and lonesome, that you might look for that adjacent tissue repair. All right. I didn't get to the freaking the Moss surgery. We'll do that on Wednesday because it's really tough questions and it'll take a bit to explain what's going on in these. So we'll do those on Wednesdays, but I hope tonight has been super helpful for you guys and those that are taking the exam this Saturday or tomorrow. I think somebody was taking their exam tomorrow. I hope this helps out a whole bunch for you guys and y'all score better now. I really appreciate y'all hanging out and supporting the channel with your super chats and your TikTok gifts and your subscriptions to the membership. It all helps. I can help out people. Provide more material here. Thank you, Twinkle. Not reading the questions. It does help, doesn't it? I'm sorry they're charging some people more than the $4.99. I don't see how that's happening, but I wish it was just the $4.99. Thanks, Sandy. Thanks, Johns. Thank you, Laura Love. Happy 4th of July. I love you guys. You're so... Yes, hope for Saturday. The best of luck. Having my fingers and toes for you. I really got my brain thinking that's great, Diana. That's awesome. Y'all do headers before descriptors. Please, please, please. You're very, very welcome for the live. Thanks, Marcy. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to go eat some meatballs that Mom made. I had a question before you go. I bought your notes last night. What do you mean on your next to the code out of numerical sync order? So, you know, I go a little crazy with my notes, guys, but when I do the out of code sequencing, let me see if I can find one real quick. Oh, the fireworks are going off. Scaring everybody. Of course, you know, I can't find one now that I look for one. So I just put the column number of where they're located next to them. Oh, I know Lab and Path's got a ton of them, right? So in my notes, I put the page number down and then whether they're on column 1 or column 2. You don't have to do that. As long as you just put the page number down, that's all you really need for your notes. But I even draw little arrows if they're on the same page where they're listed and they're just up above or below or straight across. I'll do little arrows pointing down to where they're at so that my eyes can get to the code faster. Because if I know they're here, they're just out of sequence. Well, which way are they? Are they up that way? Are they down that way? You don't have to get all in that involved, but totally up to you. There's one where I pointed one up. So that's what I'm doing. Hopefully that's helpful. You're welcome. Thank you much. I appreciate it. I love you guys. I will see you guys on Wednesday.